Thomas Malone was once one of the most feared police officers in the world, known for hunting dangerous criminals without mercy. But after being accused of a crime he insists he did not commit, his entire life falls apart. He ends up serving a life sentence in a brutal futuristic prison colony. Years pass. Malone becomes older, quieter, and emotionally exhausted, haunted by memories of his past. However, one day he is unexpectedly offered a deal that sounds both insane and tempting at the same time. A powerful organization gives him a chance at freedom, but only if he agrees to participate in a deadly human hunting game called Apex. The rules are simple and horrifying. Wealthy elite hunters pay massive amounts of money to hunt a real human target on a remote island for sport. If the target survives until sunrise, he earns his freedom. Many prisoners have entered the game before him, but none have survived. The hunters are armed with advanced weapons, military technology, and years of combat experience. Despite knowing the odds are against him, Malone accepts the offer because prison has already destroyed his spirit. He would rather die fighting in the wild than rot away behind walls forever. Soon, he is transported to a remote forest island filled with mountains, rivers, abandoned structures, and hidden traps. Before the hunt begins, the movie introduces the group of hunters who have come to participate in this twisted game. They are not ordinary people, but wealthy psychopaths who view killing as entertainment. Among them is Samuel Rainsford, the cold and arrogant leader who believes himself to be the greatest hunter alive. He treats the hunt almost like a philosophical challenge, believing predators are superior beings and weak people exist only to be dominated. The other hunters each have their own disturbing personalities. One enjoys violence openly, another sees the game as a competition for status, another participates only for thrill and money. Together they form a terrifying group of killers who underestimate Malone because of his age and quiet personality. As night falls, the hunt officially begins. Malone is released into the wilderness with only basic survival equipment. At first, he appears calm and almost defeated, walking slowly through the forest while the hunters track him using drones, thermal scanners, and advanced rifles. The hunters laugh at him and assume the game will end quickly, but they soon discover they have made a terrible mistake. Malone's years as a police officer taught him survival tactics, tracking skills, and psychological warfare. Instead of running blindly, he carefully studies the environment and begins setting traps throughout the forest. One hunter confidently follows Malone's trail into a narrow area filled with hidden spikes and explosive traps, leading to a brutal death that shocks the others. For the first time in years, the hunters realize they are not chasing prey, but fighting a dangerous opponent capable of turning the entire island against them. As the hunt continues deeper into the night, Malone uses patience and intelligence rather than brute strength. He studies each hunter's personality and manipulates their weaknesses against them. One becomes paranoid and begins shooting wildly into the darkness, accidentally exposing himself. Another grows overconfident and separates from the group, only to fall into another deadly ambush. Malone understands that fear can destroy people faster than bullets, so he intentionally creates confusion, making the hunters believe he could attack from anywhere at any moment. Meanwhile, the audience learns more about Malone's past through conversations and flashbacks. He was once a respected officer who crossed powerful people while investigating corruption, leading to false accusations that destroyed his reputation and family. This tragic history explains why he feels disconnected from society, and why surviving Apex becomes more than just escaping prison. It becomes his final chance to reclaim his dignity and prove he is still human in a world that now treats people like animals for entertainment. While Malone fights for survival, tensions also grow among the hunters themselves. Rainsford remains calm and fascinated by Malone's intelligence, almost admiring him as a worthy opponent, but the others become angry and reckless as the body count rises. Their arrogance slowly transforms into fear because they are no longer in control of the hunt. The island that once felt like their playground becomes a nightmare filled with uncertainty. One by one, more hunters are eliminated through clever traps, brutal confrontations, and psychological manipulation. Malone constantly stays one step ahead because he refuses to play by their expectations. Instead of acting like prey, he becomes a hunter himself. Eventually, the remaining survivors are forced into direct confrontation. Malone reaches an abandoned facility hidden deep inside the island, where the final battle takes place. By now he is wounded, exhausted, and emotionally drained, but he refuses to surrender. Rainsford confronts him alone, and the two men engage in a tense conversation about power, survival, and morality. Rainsford argues that humans are naturally predators and prey, claiming the strong deserve to dominate the weak. Malone strongly rejects this worldview, insisting that humanity loses its soul when life becomes entertainment and violence becomes pleasure. Their argument reflects the deeper theme of the film, showing how greed and power can strip people of empathy. The final fight between them is brutal and desperate. Rainsford uses advanced weapons and combat skills, while Malone relies on strategy and experience. During the confrontation, Malone manages to outsmart him by using the environment and one final trap, turning Rainsford's confidence against him. The hunter who once believed himself untouchable finally realizes he has become the prey. In a dramatic ending, Malone defeats Rainsford and survives the game until sunrise. The people controlling Apex are shocked because nobody expected an older prisoner to overcome elite hunters. Malone is officially granted his freedom, but the victory feels bittersweet because the experience has shown him how cruel and corrupted society has become. Instead of celebrating like a hero, he quietly leaves the island carrying emotional scars and painful memories of the night. The movie ends with Malone walking away from the violent world that tried to destroy him, finally reclaiming a sense of purpose and dignity. The moral message of the story is that intelligence, patience, and humanity are more powerful than arrogance and cruelty. The hunters believed money and strength made them superior, but their lack of empathy ultimately became their weakness. Malone survived not because he was physically stronger, but because he refused to lose his humanity even in the middle of violence and chaos. The film also reminds viewers that treating human life like entertainment leads to moral destruction, and true strength comes from discipline, wisdom, and the ability to stay human when the world becomes savage.